Alright, radio check, radio check. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me. Um, we have got the drivers now. They are just leaving the pit lane as they make their way around for the start of the sprint race here. Um, yeah, everyone making their way to the grid. We're going to have a couple of exploratory laps. I can't even say that word properly. But yes, we've got the drivers just driving around, getting their cars over towards the grid as the pit lane is open. Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. We have got Spectre XOG Ninja, thank you for modding the chat. And we'll have 19 laps of racing here for the sprint race in Austin, Texas, at COTA. Yeah, it's going to be quite an exciting race. Of course, we've got Max Verstappen starting from pole position. It's been quite a while since we've had Max start from the front. Of course, this is only a sprint race, but nonetheless, it does represent the pace that the Red Bull car has over the rest of the competition. Yeah, all right. Appreciate the stream as always. No worries. Hello everyone. Yeah, hello. Fortunately, I can't read everyone's names out. I'd love to. However, I would get no commentary done if I was just reading everyone's name. We have got track temperature has increased a little bit. Track temperature is up at 41 degrees today. Yesterday it was 35 degrees, now at 41. So a little bit more of a concern for tyre wear. And the data that was predicted yesterday, the tyre wear, laps, how many laps would it take for the medium tyres to wear out, how many laps would it take for the hard tyres to wear out, those predictions probably have to be shortened a little bit in terms of the lifespan of the tyres because track temperature is up, we're going to have more overheating, and as a result, we're going to have more tyre wear. All right. Why are they on track? They are on track because they have to drive out the pit lane and then they drive around the circuit and then go to the starting grid. That's just for the teams to do some checks on the engine or some checks on the suspension, all of these things. It's just an install lap essentially. The drivers come out the pit lane, their cars have all of the sensors on them, teams are checking all the sensors, making sure everything is in good condition, and then the drivers park up at the starting grid of the race. So yeah, that's why everyone is on the circuit as of now, apart from Verstappen and Colapinto. Both drivers are still sat in the pits. They'll be leaving very, very shortly. All right. Oh, could you turn your volume up a bit? My volume is already at max, and I'm pretty sure it's the it's a normal volume that we've had for all season long now. So yeah, apologies, can't increase that any further. Why there are only 19 laps? It is because this is a sprint race. It's 1/3 of the race distance of an actual race. So the actual race, I think, will be, 57 laps if this is 1/3. And yeah, 57 laps of racing that we'll have at COTA. But for now, for the sprint race, we'll only have 19 laps of racing because it is 1/3 of the race distance of the usual. Right. Okie dokie. Yeah, we've got a couple more things to go through in terms of qualifying and all of that related things. What the performance was like for all of the drivers and how they felt the car was. But we'll get into that. We've got, let me just put the timer up on the screen, 25 minutes till the start of the sprint race. And yeah. Hello, everyone. Gamer. How are the radio messages? Are they fine? What are the expectations on Max today? The radio message, they are fine. They should be working. They started working in they started working in quali. I think they were broken in FP1, but however, all of the issues that were present in FP1, they got resolved between the sessions, and everything worked fine for qualifying. Yeah. What are the expectations on Max? Well, the expectations on Max is this is one of his best circuits, and the expectation will be that he leads the race from the front. He doesn't let Russell send one down the inside, and he plays it safe and takes home 8 points, takes home 7 points, and just scores some more points than Norris because he really does need it. And this is the other thing. Verstappen normally, we've seen in the past in 2021, he would get very, very aggressive, get his elbows out because at that point he had nothing to lose. In 2021 he would throw absolutely everything at it because if he didn't, then he was not going to get close to the 2021 World Championship. Whereas now Max Verstappen is the reigning world champion. He has got the most points out of all of the drivers, and this championship is his to lose. So if he does get a little bit too aggressive with George Russell, and there's some contact and some damage, and Verstappen ends up out of the points, then that is going to cost him dearly, and he can't afford to take such risks. We've seen Verstappen mature a little bit over the past couple of years, and his aggressive driving has, reduced a little bit, and he has decided to play it safe on certain occasions to maximize his points scoring. But we have seen on certain occasions as well, for example, Hungary this year, he just got frustrated of being stuck behind Lewis for so long, sent one down the inside, and then the car got launched up into the air. He got a bit of floor damage, and then that compromised the rest of his race. So essentially, yeah, Verstappen's got to keep his head on. He's not got to be too, too aggressive, too risky. He can let Russell get the 8 points, and he'll take the 7 points from second place. It's much better to take the 7 points than to take no points whatsoever. And that will be coursing through Verstappen's mind, what to do, risk versus reward, what is the best option to do right now, and not run the risk of being taken out and losing a whole bunch of points to his championship rival, Lando Norris. Is Albon starting in the pits? Yes, I think by the looks of it, he is. The pit lane is closed, and Alex Albon will be starting from the pits. I think he had some sort of issue. I wasn't 100% sure what he had. I will just get the data up I'll just get the news up in a second. I've just forgot my phone somewhere, so once I find that, I'll let you know. But Alex Albon has been confirmed. He is starting from the pit lane. I'll just get the reason for that very shortly. It's because they made a setup change. Okay, well, that explains it. No pit stops required in 19 laps of racing. The drivers don't have to do a pit stop. If they want to, then they can. However, it's quite unlikely that it will be a quicker strategy to do a pit stop. Yeah. Perez 11th, Yuki 19th. Yeah, just saying. I mean, this is the thing. Yuki Tsunoda has been performing very, very consistently, and I'm a little bit unsure about why he hasn't been considered for that full Red Bull spot. I know part of the reason is that Yuki Tsunoda isn't really a Red Bull driver. He's more of a Honda driver, and Honda would like him to be there because Honda and Red Bull have a partnership, and because of that, Honda have some say in who their drivers are going to be. And who the driver for Red Bull will be, and they want Yuki Tsunoda to drive, and because of that, Tsunoda has got a seat confirmed at AlphaTauri, or Racing Bulls, whatever you want to call it. However, Honda will be pushing for Tsunoda to go up into Red Bull, but they don't have that much influence over the team, and for whatever reason, they don't believe in Tsunoda as much as they do in Perez. So Tsunoda still stays at Red Bull, at Racing Bull, and Perez still stays at Red Bull. Oh, you're getting adverts. Whoops, let me just disable those. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, apologies for that. YouTube just loves shoving adverts in everyone's face, and I have to go out of my way to block them. So yeah, hopefully you guys don't get any more adverts. Right. What else? I've never saw a sprint race. How often does this take place? It takes place. Well, this year we will have 6 sprint races over the course of the season. So there's 24 races. 6 of them are sprint weekends. So yeah, 1/4 of the races of the year are sprint races. The race at Brazil as well, that will also be a sprint race. We had a sprint race there in 2021 and 2022. And yeah, it's a pretty good circuit for a sprint race. Loads of opportunities. And it's a pretty similar story here. Right. Yuki's issue that he can't control his emotions. Well, see, this is the thing. I think Yuki will sometimes, get very angry over the radio and say certain things or whatever. But until his emotions start affecting his driving, I wouldn't consider that an issue. If he gets angry and then starts getting a whole bunch of wheel spin and spinning out and crashing, then sure, that is, that's a real concern for the team. But Tsunoda's just swearing over the radio but still is driving super quick, then I don't think that's much of an issue. So I don't think the fact that Tsunoda swears over the radio is going to be too big of a factor in why he's stuck at Racing Bulls and not at Red Bull. Yeah, Max gets very angry as well, and everyone's fine with that. when Max complains and swears over the radio, it's, oh, Max is swearing again, haha, so funny. And then when it's Yuki Tsunoda, it's like, oh, he can't control his emotions, he's not good enough. Now, of course, part of that does come down to, the fact that you are a world champion and you're in a position to be able to do whatever you want, and everyone will say it's fine. But yeah, there are some slight double standards that we can see in the sport. Right, I will. I'll get up all the data and the information now on uh, on why Albon is starting from the pits. But yeah, no other changes on the grid. We've still got Perez starting 11th, and we've still got Piastri starting in 16th. How many places will Piastri gain? That's a good question to ask, actually. It might be tough getting all the way up into 8th position. However, the McLaren is probably one of the fastest cars on the circuit. It may not be the quickest of them all by the looks of it from yesterday, but yeah, it's still very, very quick. So I expect it should be very easy for him to get past Lawson, Alonso, Stroll, Gasly. He may get stuck behind Perez for a little bit. That depends on how much Perez's progress is up through the field, and then Colapinto as well. Colapinto and Tsunoda shouldn't be too hard. But then it might get a little bit tougher. The Haases are doing fantastic, up in 6th and 8th position for the Haas teams. And yeah. Right. Also, some updates on the Red Bull investigation from the FIA. They have said that the FIA have stated that they found no evidence of violation by Red Bull, and the bib system has been public to both the Motorsport Federation and the competition for 3 years. So Red Bull have had this system for 3 years. They have found no violation whatsoever, no evidence of any violation, and yeah. So this is the thing. Just to sort of describe how this system works is they can make the changes after Parc Ferme. However, for them to make those changes, they would have to remove the front nose cone, take off a couple of panels, then go and adjust a screw to adjust the ride height and adjust a couple of things. And that is very unfeasible at the Formula One paddock. There are so many fans, so many spectators around. I'm sure there are cameras around, and Red Bull would not be able to get away by just disassembling the front of their car, changing a couple of things, and putting it back on under Parc Ferme regulations. So yeah, no evidence of any sort of violations from Red Bull, and that threat is totally thrown out of the water now. Thrown out the window, sorry. Okay. Dalal Habibi bro has gained over 50,000 subs in the last 4 to 5 months. Great work, keep it up. Yeah, I mean, this has been the most explosive growth that the channel has ever had. I think the maybe could if you put it in relative terms, when I went from 1,000 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers in the 2021 season, I would say, of course, that 20x'd my subscriber count. But if we go in just sheer numbers of subscribers gained, I think we started off the season at 58,000 subscribers, and now we are approaching 108,000 subscribers. So nearly a 50,000 subscriber increase, which I'm sure we'll hit by the end of this weekend. That is, yeah, simply mind blowing. Are you going to do streams as often for races since you're at university? Yeah, I will be. I'll be able to do all of the races on Sundays. Definitely will be free on Saturdays as well. Fridays sometimes I might have to skip the free practice sessions. However, yeah. However, Saturday and Sunday I will still be commentating. So yeah, the main ones and the important ones I'll still be there. Right. Yeah. Sprint race starts in 15 minutes' time. We've just got a team radio come through from Valtteri Bottas. It's a little bit delayed. It says 17 minutes to go. But yeah, not very long now. All of the cars are on the grid. All of the mechanics and the engineers are there all looking around. Well, not looking around. They're setting up the car into the perfect conditions. They're doing the final couple of checks, taking some extra sensors off the car to reduce the weight of the car, and then they will be putting on those tires. The question is, are you going to use the mediums? Are you going to use the hard tires? Yeah, because it may be a little bit tight on the medium tyres doing 19 laps. It is probably possible. However, with the high track temperatures that we've got, it started out, at the start of the stream, it's 41 degrees. Now it's 43 degrees. The sky is totally blue in Austin. The sun is shining, and track temperatures will be skyrocketing. So, tire wear is going to be an issue for the drivers, and maybe you go on the hard tires, you sacrifice a little bit of pace at the start of the sprint race, but then towards the end when everyone else is conserving and managing their tires, you can really attack and gain a couple of places. So that might be the way forward for a couple of drivers. We'll have to wait and see what the strategists think is the best option. Right. Is the circuit bad on the tires? Well, yeah. Given that the first sector is horrible on the tires, it is so high speed. You're constantly loading and unloading, loading and unloading the front left, the front right, the front left, the front right, and then the middle sector is fine because it's basically just a straight and two hairpins. But the third sector, once again, very heavy on the tires, and the drivers do start to feel. Well, not the drivers. The tires start to feel the heat, and they wear out rather quickly. Yeah. Stake has DRS enabled. How is that possible? They have DRS enabled because I think when they were following a couple of the drivers into the back of the grid, they were within the 1 second mark, and that's why DRS has been enabled on their cars. I don't think that is much to look into. It'll be disabled once the race begins. Okay. Yeah, 12:47 p.m. Yeah, it's just after midday in Austin, and while the sun is going to be very close to its peak in the sky, and temperatures will be rising for a couple more hours before they start to drop again. So, yeah, the tires will be definitely feeling some sort of, well, not some sort of heat, a lot of heat. Do you play any F1 games on the console like 24 or anything? I do have F1 2021. The first F1 game I got was 2018, then I got 2019. I skipped 2020 and then got 2021, and then I haven't got any of the games since because they're all made by EA. And well, let's be honest, they're pretty terrible. So yeah, the latest F1 game that I've got is F1 2021, but it's still good fun. And I have a steering wheel setup as well. So yeah, it's nice and enjoyable driving around driving around the Red Bull that Max Verstappen had at his hands in the 2021 season, and doing some time trial really, trying to get those lap times down. The McLaren update seemed to have slowed down the car. That update was a risk, to be honest. Well, see, this is the thing. McLaren have had a very good track record on upgrades. If you look at all of their upgrades in the last season and this season, all of them have been working absolutely fantastically. They've barely had any sort of issues with correlation. Everything has been matching up perfectly, and the car has been getting steadily quicker and quicker. And that's what's created their progress all the way to the top of the pack. So now they are at the top. Maybe they've rushed out this upgrade package. Maybe what's happened is when an upgrade package gets delivered to the car, and normally the drivers and the engineers and the mechanics, they have 3 practice sessions to sort of get a feel for the upgrades, make sure that the setup is in its perfect optimum position, and make a couple of tweaks to the car that they feel is appropriate. However, this weekend the drivers have only had 1 hour of practice, and then they've had around 2 or 3 hours to set up the cars before they go into Parc Ferme. So because of that, the teams don't have that much time to really get this new upgrade package into its most optimum setting. So I think what may have happened is that this new upgrade package may be an upgrade and it may genuinely make the car quicker. However, McLaren haven't found the sweet spot for this upgrade package, and because of that, they look like they've slowed down. Whereas, they'll probably arrive at Mexico City next weekend, and they'll arrive at Mexico City, they'll find the optimum in the 3 practice sessions, and then they'll be the fastest car on the grid. So that could be what happens at McLaren. Right. What time is quali? Quali will be starting in what is it? 4 hours time? Where 4 hours and 10 minutes. That's when qualifying will begin. So you guys can figure that out depending on wherever you are in the world and whichever time zone that you're in. Okay. Yeah, we are now 9 minutes and 30 seconds away from the start of the sprint race. Folks, let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to who do you think is going to end up winning this race? Are there going to be any DNFs? Are we going to see a safety car? It's been a very long time since we've seen a safety car, and potentially we can have one here at the sprint race. You know, the drivers are always jostling for position, going for ridiculous overtakes on the opening lap. So we might see the safety car come out. Right. If Lando doesn't win, then he'll lose the championship. No, I think if Lando doesn't win this race, it makes it harder for him to win the championship. If Verstappen has a couple of DNFs in the next couple of races, then Norris can still mathematically win. However, it gets the chances get more and more slim. F1 Gamer, what are the chances of a safety car on this circuit? I don't think those numbers have been published. Actually, I think I've managed to not find them. So let me have a look if I can find them. I think my phone that I keep all the data on is out of charge, which is not ideal. But I've got a charger right here, so just give me a sec. Okie dokie. I do a coin flip and bet on her safety car chances. Yeah, the safety car. I think we've had quite a few over the past couple of years. Let's just think back. We've had quite a few incidents at turn number 1 as well on the opening lap. I think 2022 was it? There was quite a big crash on the opening lap. There was a spin, and one of the drivers had their races hugely compromised. But let's see. Also, we'll have the tyre information coming through very, very shortly as to which tyre is the most optimal, which tyres have the teams chosen. So let's wait and see. Yeah, Russell hit Carlos on 2022, in 2022, and yeah, that was quite a big collision on the opening lap of the race. Yeah, we could have a Max Russell DNF on the first corner. You can never be too sure of these things. All right, let's see. Do we have the data on how many safety cars that we've had at this race? No, I think the data gets released tomorrow. I just haven't managed to go through it myself. Oh, whoops. There we go. Let's just decline that phone call. What else have we got going on? Yeah, not too much really. Can Max win from a P1 start? And certainly can. If he breaks the DRS, then it's going to be a very easy win for him. But the DRS will get enabled on the second lap, so Russell has just got the opening lap. If he can stay within Verstappen on the opening lap, then there's a very, very good chance that he could go on to DRS past him. Right, Kevin Magnussen said in an interview, the car was good yesterday. Hopefully we can get some points in the sprint and some more tomorrow. We'll take it as it comes and we'll see what we can do. But we look decent compared to RB, at least in quali. So yeah, Haas are doing fantastically. They've been performing very, very well, and they're now slowly approaching the top 4 teams. There's still a pretty big gap between the top 4 teams and the rest of the pack. But Haas are slowly but surely bridging that gap, and they're doing that with such little funding as well. You've got to give Haas huge props here. They have not got nowhere near as much funding as the rest of the teams. However, there is the budget cap, but still, Haas don't fill out the budget cap as far as I know. And they are still managing to perform and deliver at an exceptional rate. It's very, very similar to what we saw with Force India back in the day. Force India had the smallest budget at the time when they were on the grid, and they would score surprise podiums with Sergio Perez in the car. They would always outperform and outdeliver the amount of money that they had, and Haas are doing very much a similar thing this weekend. And not just this weekend, this whole season really. There's always at least been one of the Haas cars into Q3. Very rarely have we seen a Haas car not make it through, and it's great really. Haas having 200 staff compared to Mercedes having 1,200. Yeah, that is absolutely wild. And that just goes to show how fantastic those Haas engineers are. The DRS zones, yes, I shall go through the DRS zones. There's only 2 on this circuit. Just the usual DRS zone down the main straight, and then you've got the DRS zone on the back straight, which starts around about here, and then it goes all the way to the braking zone, where the drivers slam onto the brakes. So that is those are the 2 DRS zones on this circuit. Right. But sprint race starting in 4 minutes time now, 19 laps of racing. Unlikely that we're going to have any sort of pit stops. Track temperature has once again increased. Now it's up to 44 degrees and the sky is getting more and more blue and the sun is getting brighter and brighter. So yeah, air temperature's up, track temperature's up, and tyre wear is definitely going to be an issue. We'll get the tyres coming through. They release the data normally 2 minutes or 1 minute 30 seconds before the start of the race. So yeah, that's when we'll get the data for the tyres. There we go. Right. Nice. Please answer my question. Do you think McLaren is going to win this weekend's race, or is it going to be Red Bull, Ferrari, or Merc? Well, unfortunately, I have no way of knowing that. By the looks of it, it may be Verstappen. You know, if he ended up on pole, there's some serious pace that Red Bull car has got, even though they haven't brought massive upgrades. Will McLaren be able to fix their setup? No, because they're in parc fermé conditions. They're not going to be allowed to modify their setup whatsoever. So, you know, if they've got the wrong setup for this weekend, then they could be compromised for the entire thing. Could it be Ferrari? They haven't brought any upgrades. Could it be Mercedes? They brought huge upgrades this weekend and a totally redesigned side pod. And the car is looking very, very quick. It was very difficult to drive by the looks of it in the hands of George Russell yesterday. Oh, look at this. We've had the numbers come through, the tyre data come through, and it's medium tyres for everyone. We've got a couple of drivers starting on fresh sets, but by the looks of it, most drivers are on used medium tyres that they used probably in Q1 or in Q2 yesterday. So we've got Tsunoda starting on a fresh set. We have got Piastri, Ocon starting on a fresh set, and Zhou and Albon starting on a fresh set. But apart from that, everyone else is on a used set of medium tyres for this Grand Prix. Nobody's decided to take the hard tyres. The softs were never going to last 19 laps, but everyone's going to be in tyre conservation mode now. With track temperature now, it's gone up to 45 degrees. Started out at 41, now up to 45. Doesn't parc fermé end after the sprint and start again before quali? I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but I will probably have to double check that. What is the name of this raceway? It is the Circuit of the Americas. It's in Austin, Texas. But we are now 1 minute away from the start of the formation lap, folks. I'm going to go through the starting grid from the bottom all the way up to the top. So we've got Alex Albon starting from the pits after making some setup changes. We've got Guan Yu Zhou in 19th position. Bottas in 18th, who may not have a seat for next year. He's a little bit uncertain about what Audi are going to do. And maybe they'll sign Bortoletto, or maybe they'll sign Colapinto, and they won't sign Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas's Bottas's Formula One career is in question at the moment. Ocon in 17th, and we've got Piastri, the surprise elimination in Q1 after getting a lap time deleted. He'll start the race in 16th position. Then we have Liam Lawson in 15th. His first ever Formula One sprint race, first ever Formula One qualifying session that he had, and well, he's done fairly well. Of course, he's been out-qualified by his teammate, but that is to be expected, given that he's only had 1 hour of practice. Then we've got Alonso in 14th, Stroll in 13th. Both Aston Martins quite close to each other, indicating that that's probably the maximum performance that they could have got out of the car. In fact, both of the drivers had their lap times deleted in quali, so very unfortunate for them. They could have been a little bit higher, but lap times deletions, they go ever so slightly wide at turn number 9, and that's just the way things go sometimes. All right, let's get rid of this timer on the screen. The formation lap will be starting in a matter of seconds now. There we go, 30 seconds, as they say over the radio, for the formation lap to begin. All right. Where did I get up to? Oh yeah, the Aston Martins. And we've got Gasly in 12th, Perez in 11th. He was another surprise elimination. He had one of his he made a mistake on one of his laps, and then just was too slow on the second lap and ended up in 11th position. Then we have Colapinto in 10th, who outqualified his teammate because Albon made a mistake, and a fantastic job really from Franco Colapinto, given that he's only had a couple of races in Formula 1 so far. Sonoda in 9th position in that Racing Bull. Then we've got Kevin Magnussen in the Haas in 8th position. Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes in 7th position. He was having a bit of a bad quali yesterday. He probably could have been a little bit higher up, but the car just wasn't perfect for him. Then we've got Hülkenberg in 6th, Carlos Sainz in 5th, Norris in 4th, Charles Leclerc in 3rd, Russell in 2nd, and Max Verstappen up there on pole position. We are underway for the formation lap, folks. All of the drivers weaving around, building up that tyre temperature, getting the brakes into the correct window, setting up those clutch settings as they are coming down the back straight, and doing a couple of burnouts before they approach the grid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one heck of a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Or one heck of a Formula 1 sprint race, whatever you want to call it. Albon is driving today. He'll just be starting from the pit lane. He won't be doing the formation lap. He'll start from the pits. And yeah. All right. Are there mandatory pit stops in the sprint race? No. I think someone asked earlier if there's a crash in the sprint race, is there enough time to repair the car for quali? The answer is it depends. If it's only like the front suspension that's been damaged, they'll be able to fix it in time for quali. If it's something much more major, then they may not be able to get their car out in time for qualifying. It depends on how big the accident was. Folks, thank you for hitting the like button. We've already hit 1,000 likes before the race has even started. I'm going to knock that target up to 2,000, and we're going to get underway for the race very, very shortly. We've got 8,000 people tuned in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe. It massively, massively helps out the channel. But we've got Max Verstappen now just coming out of the final corner, getting ready to go racing. All right, all of the radio checks have been done. All of the drivers have got their clutch settings dialed in. They're just doing a couple more burnouts as they make their way towards the start-finish grid. There's quite a long run from the starting grid all the way to turn number 1. The drivers do have an opportunity to slipstream past and get ahead. Well, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. So Verstappen, he finally lines himself up in that pole position spot. Oh, we've had a little bit of debris hit Kevin Magnussen's car. It was very, very small. It should not affect him whatsoever, but nonetheless a little strange. And yeah, the first 4 or 5 drivers now are lined up on the grid, and everyone else is very slowly approaching. Turn 1 is going to be pure chaos here. This is definitely probably the best US Grand Prix circuit that we have out on the season. Miami is a street circuit. Vegas really isn't that good of a racing circuit. This is the best one for racing. And boy, oh boy, are we going to have some fantastic racing here. We've got the final couple of drivers now making their way to the grid. Verstappen lines up on pole. His car is already pointed to cover over George Russell as they go into turn number 1. Russell will have the inside line, but Max Verstappen's car's already pointed ever so slightly in the direction of Russell because he's ready to squeeze him all the way to the wall, just like he did to Charles Leclerc on the opening lap of the 2023 US Grand Prix. But the green flag is waving. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and it is lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen gets a great start, and here comes Charles Leclerc already looking to attack George Russell, and they are 3 wide going into turn number 1. One in the McLaren has had a fantastic start. Norris is up into second. Great start from him, and now the 2 Brits are side by side going into turn number 3. Norris gets ahead of Russell. What a race start. He's done it. Norris has actually gained positions on a race start. How has that happened? I don't know, but he's done a lot of practicing between the races. One of the Astons gets pushed out a little bit wide, and Alonso's lost a couple of places there. Piastri's up 2 places as well. Both McLarens get a fantastic race start. Whatever issues that the McLaren cars had with their clutch settings, they have been fixed, and the McLarens are back in business. Right, they're side by side going through turn number 11, but the gap up at the front, Norris is within 0.8 of a second of Max Verstappen, and this is going to get very, very feisty. Verstappen and Norris championship rivals. But is Verstappen going to get his elbows out? Is he just going to let Norris go by? Who knows? But Charles Leclerc sends one down the inside of George Russell. He's a little bit deep on the brakes. Russell fights it back, but they're going through the slow speed corners now, side by side, as they go into turn number 15. Russell on the inside line, Leclerc on the outside line. Leclerc gets a switch back. Can he hold it round the outside of turn number 15? This is so close, but Russell just ever so slightly manages to stay ahead of Russell, and Russell manages to stay ever so slightly ahead of Leclerc, and because they have been squabbling so much, that gap at the front has nearly been eked out to a second by Lando Norris. So Russell very close to losing DRS there, but we'll wait and see what they do on the next lap. But we've already had some fantastic racing side by side through the final sector between the drivers in third and fourth position. Fantastic racing at this circuit, as we always do. Piastri's up 2 positions off the race start, started in 16th, up into 14th. He's got steady progress to do now over the next 18 laps, and he's got Gasly up ahead of him. DRS has been enabled, folks, so as the drivers now make their way to turn number 11, the DRS detection point will detect whether they're within 1 second of the driver ahead of them, and if they are, then DRS will be given to them. And here they go, through the back straight they go. Who has access to DRS? Lando Norris does. Verstappen going down the straight, he's not going to get the extra top speed that Norris will get, and Norris will be gaining and gaining. He's a little bit too far back for now, but the two Ferraris are squabbling here. Carlos Sainz versus Charles Leclerc. Sainz has got nothing to lose. He's leaving Ferrari at the end of the year. He might as well try and get ahead of his teammate, and the two Ferraris are fighting, and George Russell is driving off into the sunset. What are they doing here? Ferrari, you've got to play the team game. You've got to stay ahead of Mercedes in the constructors, but the Ferraris are dead set on squabbling against each other. And have they swapped positions? Yes, they have, but they swapped positions back as well. Charles Leclerc manages to maintain the lead over Sainz. Sainz went very deep into turn number 15. Leclerc managed to get a better exit and holds that position in fourth position. Holds that place in fourth position, sorry. Yeah, wow. All right, Norris still within DRS. George Russell with the fastest lap of the race. In fact, going fastest in the first sector, making sure that he has got DRS on Lando Norris. And that gap now is definitely within a second. And the two Ferraris have squabbled, and it looks like Russell has broken DRS to Leclerc. If Leclerc can't get it back in this first sector, then he's going to be in big trouble for the rest of this race. All right. We're on lap number 3 of 19. 17 laps remain of this Grand Prix, and Verstappen is in the lead by 0.7 of a second. We are going to have a fantastic battle brewing at the front. We've had a message from race control saying that the incident at turn number 11 will be noted where Kevin Magnussen left the track and gained an advantage, but I think it's just been noted, not under investigation, so he should be fine. All right. And here they go down the back straight. How much does Norris gain on the back straight? He gains about 1.5 tenths, but as soon as they go onto the brakes, Verstappen has got the clean air. He's got a little bit more downforce because there's no dirty air ahead of him, and well, he manages to break that gap out. So let's wait and see how much longer he can hold that lead for, or will Lando Norris come charging down the straight and slipstream past him? All right. When is quali? Quali is in it's in 3 hours after the end of after the start of this race, I think. Oh, is it 3? No, it's 4. Yeah, 4 hours after. So in 3 hours and 50 minutes, that's the start of quali. But that doesn't matter. We've got the sprint race to focus on now. 4 laps have been completed out of the 19. We've got Piastri still stuck behind Gasly here. He's only up 2 positions, and there's a big old DRS train, and Piastri can make absolutely no progress on the Frenchman. The Frenchman has got 15 horsepower less in his engine. His car is not as slippery as the McLaren is in a straight line, but still, because of the DRS train, Piastri is stuck there in 14th position, unable to get ahead of Pierre Gasly, no matter how hard he pushes in the first and third sector. In the second sector, Gasly's just going to gain all of that time back because he's going to have DRS from the driver ahead of him. All right, up at the front, it looked like Verstappen had broke DRS and the gap was just over 1 second, but Norris just managed to squeeze it back through the final couple of corners, turn number 7, 8 and 9. The drivers are very careful not to exceed track limits, and because of that, they back off a little bit, and Norris managed to stay within DRS of Verstappen on this occasion. Verstappen has got the fastest lap of the race, and we'll wait and see what happens up there. But the top three all within 1 second of each other. This is fantastic. All right. Oh, wow. 12,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It massively, massively helps out the channel. Essentially just tells the YouTube algorithm, like, oh, yeah, this is an amazing live stream, and I should recommend it to everyone that likes Formula One. So yeah, if you're enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. But let's get back to the race. Does the sprint race count to any drivers/constructors points? Yes, it does. The driver in first position will get 8 points. The driver in second position will get 7. The driver in third will get 6, and so on and so forth, all the way down to 8th position, where the driver will get 1 singular point. So yeah, there are points awarded out for the sprint race. It's not just the 3-2-1 that we had earlier. The regulations have changed, and now it's 8 points for first position, down to 1 point for 8th position. All right, and look at this. We're having some chat over the radio. They're telling Oscar Piastri to do big lifts into turn number 12 here. I think maybe McLaren... Oh, I might know the surprise. I might know what McLaren have done here. Both McLarens were very, very good off the race start. Oh my god, what happened here? Sergio Perez was too focused on the battle ahead on lap number 2 and nearly outbraked himself. That was so close. He nearly had a crash there on lap number 2, but yeah, Sergio Perez still in 10th position. I think maybe what the McLarens did was they underfueled their car because both McLarens got a sensational start. I think they might have been predicting a safety car to happen or something, and because of that, they put a little bit less fuel in the car, and they said, look at that, they've said big lift into 19. To Lando Norris said big lift into 11. McLaren are now in fuel saving mode, so that explains their good start. What they did was they put maybe 5 kilos less fuel into the car. That gives them extra acceleration compared to everyone else, and because of that, they are now in fuel saving mode, and they're doing lift and coast into turn number 12. So Norris is not even thinking about attacking Verstappen. Now his thought process is, can I keep George Russell behind while not running out of fuel till the end of this race? Oh wow, this is very, very interesting. I haven't seen any sort of underfueling strategy like that before. Well, not for the past couple of races for sure. Not past couple of seasons for sure, really. Ever since the refueling ban, we haven't seen much of these things really happen. But it looks like it's working out for McLaren so far, but we've still got 14 laps of this race to go. The two Ferraris are still squabbling. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz have switched positions. Sainz is ahead now. They're still battling going into turn 1 and 2. The Ferraris are squabbling amongst themselves, and Hamilton will catch up soon enough. So they've really got to get their heads on here. Otherwise, they could risk losing the position to Hamilton. Okay. McLaren strategy, that means that Max will win the sprint race for sure. Yes, it is. Norris goes defensive against Russell. Going into turn number 12, Norris is forced to do lifting and coasting, and Russell is catching up so quickly. And now, as they try to go into turn number 15, we've got George Russell on the outside, Lando Norris on the inside. Can Russell swoop round the outside? The Mercedes has got grip for sure, and he tries to go around the outside. Norris squeezes him off the circuit. He's still got the inside line into 16, but the dirty air compromises him too much. He's got to lift off the throttle and settle back down into third place, but we've got a very good battle brewing here. Norris is going to do absolutely everything he can. He knows every single point counts now going to the end of the season, and well, he's got to fight for every single one. All right, they come over the radio to Verstappen saying Verstappen's potentially damaging the rear tyres more than we are. So they're saying that Norris is protecting his rear tyres, Verstappen not so much. But I think McLaren have got much bigger issues to worry about, and those issues are not running out of fuel. Yeah. Right. Alonso was off the circuit on the first couple of laps. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe he was. But for now, everything is, there's no sort of investigation for Alonso. Hulkenberg is close to Yuki. Yes, he is within 0.6 of a second, in fact. And Tsunoda's got no DRS ahead of him. So as they go down the back straight, Tsunoda is a sitting duck for this Haas car. And Hulkenberg is gaining, and he's gaining. What can he do? He looks to the inside of Yuki Tsunoda as they go into turn number 12. And Hulkenberg's got the overtake done on Tsunoda here. They're going to fight it as they go through the middle sector. And Tsunoda is going to try and fight this one back. They're side by side into 15, but Hulkenberg has just got the edge in terms of grip, and he manages to stay ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Nice overtake though from Nico Hulkenberg, and both Haas now in the points, 7th position and 8th position for the Haas teams, and fantastic job, really fantastic. All right, the two Ferraris once again are squabbling a little bit. Russell, he had to back off so much after trying to overtake Lando Norris. He lost out quite a bit of pace going through turn number 16, 17 and 18. Had to back off so much that the Ferraris have now caught up to him. And Russell, who was originally only thinking about attacking, has now got to think about the Ferraris that are behind him as well. And the Ferraris are still not stopped battling. I don't know what's gone into Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, but both of them are still battling away. And well, they've got to focus on catching Russell, but yeah, we'll see. F1 Gaming, can you fix the team radios? Yeah, I'll do a bit of a refresh. Hopefully that'll help. But yeah, the team radios should come through very shortly, folks. For some reason, it was showing the team radios from about 10 minutes ago from the formation lap, which was a little strange. But hopefully, when they come through now, they should be the up-to-date ones. How's it, buddy? Yes, I should actually have some water. Thank you for reminding me. And oh wow, 14,000 people watching the live stream. That is incredible. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and appreciate the support. All right. Max ruined his rear tyres? I really don't think so. Looking at that gap, it's 1.5 seconds. Maybe Norris will catch up a little bit in a couple of the sectors, but yeah. If we have a look at both of their last lap times, Verstappen a 138.7, Norris a 138.3. He was 0.4 quicker, but I think Verstappen made a small mistake in the final sector small mistake in the middle sector, and that's what's caused him to lose a little bit of time. I think Verstappen may be doing some lifting and coasting as well, to be fair. But yeah, Liam squeezed Alonso. Yeah, I saw that. Liam is getting very feisty for his opening race of the season and opening race of his career, to be fair. Fighting Fernando Alonso, which a lot of drivers struggle with. Alonso usually gets an overtake done pretty nicely, but Liam Lawson is giving him a good run for his money. So yeah, props to Liam Lawson, really. First race, battling the oldest and the most experienced driver on the grid. All right. Perez is stuck, it seems. Yeah, maybe he is. Yeah, Perez is stuck. He's in 10th position and he can't get ahead of Tsunoda, who is driving the junior Red Bull car, whereas Perez is driving the senior Red Bull car. Don't know exactly what's going on. And in fact, he's 2/10 back from Tsunoda as they go into turn number 12, but there's nothing that can be done. And Sainz, what an overtake on George Russell, just forcing a little mistake there, and Carlos Sainz swoops by, and fantastic job there. George Russell getting a little defensive, the car not being as controllable as you would have liked. And as they go through turn number 15, Carlos Sainz gets ahead of George Russell. A fantastic move from the Spaniard, and some brilliant racing. And Charles Leclerc is now all over George Russell as well. Both Ferraris have now caught up. Sainz has got ahead of him. Charles Leclerc is looking extremely racy as they go into the first sector. They are nose to tail, and Charles Leclerc is bouncing over these curbs, and we see the sparks flying from George Russell's car, but Leclerc is still stuck to the back of the Mercedes. He's somehow managing to hold on despite all of the dirty air. Leclerc is right on Russell's tail. We've got a purple first sector from Sainz. Sainz has overtook Russell and said, "See you later." You're not even going to get DRS off me as we go into turn number 11. And I think Sainz may have even broken DRS. That is significantly going to help out his teammate, because if Russell has no DRS, yes, he doesn't. Russell has no DRS, and this should be a easy overtake for Charles Leclerc if he can get some good traction out of turn number 12, which he does. But Russell managed to get even better traction and just stay ahead so far. We've still got 10 laps left of this race, and let's wait and see what happens. The gap is now dipped from 1.5 seconds to 1.3 seconds for Verstappen to Norris. However, I think as soon as it gets anywhere close to Verstappen, anywhere close to 1 second, Leclerc's managed to get ahead of Russell at the same spot that Sainz had. Russell made another mistake. Not a mistake, I think he was just taking a different racing line, trying to hold off Leclerc, but he went a little bit too defensive. Leclerc got a switch back and said, "See you later, thank you very much for that 4th position." And the Ferraris, even though they brought 0 upgrades this weekend, are still ahead of both Mercedes. Wow. What are the DRS zones? The 2 DRS zones on the circuit. There is one DRS zone here coming down the main straight, and the other DRS zone is coming down the back straight. Those are the 2 DRS zones on the circuit. Can't be forgetting the big mover, Alex Albon. Man is on a charge. Yeah, Albon started in 20th position. He's up into 18th. I wouldn't say that's a big charger. I would say Oscar Piastri, he's a big charger. He started in 16th, up 4 places, the most positions gained out of any driver on the grid so far. And he's now on the back of Colapinto, getting so close to overtake him. But as you go through the first sector, through the S's, it is impossible to get an overtake done there. It is single file for certain. And Piastri's going to have to wait to attack at turn number 12 or turn number 11. And this is the thing, he's somehow managing to do that on while also fuel saving. As I said earlier, the McLarens are they underfueled their car, and they're having to do fuel saving measures. And even despite the fuel saving measures, Piastri is still able to get overtakes done, which is quite frankly amazing. We've just had a penalty given to Oscar Piastri. He's been given a 5-second time penalty for forcing a driver off the circuit. So I think maybe one of his overtakes wasn't as clean as he would have liked, and as clean as the FIA would have liked. And we've had Piastri been given a 5-second time penalty. If that 5-second time penalty gets applied right now, that gets dropped he gets dropped from 12th position all the way down to 16th place, which is not ideal whatsoever. Charles Leclerc with the fastest lap of the race. He's still trying to overtake his teammate. The 2 Ferrari drivers, while they were squabbling at the start of the race, now they are pushing each other to the absolute limit, and now they're slowly but surely approaching Lando Norris. We've got 8 laps left of this race. A purple first sector for Norris, which was quickly taken into a purple first sector for Verstappen, which has now turned into a purple first sector for Charles Leclerc. All 3 drivers are pushing extremely hard now, and they know they've only got 8 laps left of this race. They can push these medium tyres towards the end now. Yeah. Let's wait and see what the Ferraris can do. The gap is only 1.8 seconds. If they manage to work together nicely, then we could see the Ferrari drivers potentially get ahead of Lando Norris. All right, there we go. The team radios are once again working. That is good. And we've got a little bit of overtaking here. Sergio Perez tries to squeeze down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. He brakes very, very late. Can Tsunoda get good traction going through turn number 13? No, he can't. He decides to back out of it. He goes left, he goes right, but in the end, he decides that the safer option is to just let Sergio Perez go. Both of them aren't scoring any points anyway. The Hasses are 4 seconds up the road. But Tsunoda re-overtakes him, and he goes so late on the brakes, but it was far too late, really. And he does not get good enough traction going through turn number 16. He tries to hold it on the inside of turn number 16, and he's perilously close to overtaking Sir Perez through the final corner. And as they now go through turn number 20, Perez gets a good exit. Tsunoda also gets a good exit. We've got DRS now coming down the main straight. Tsunoda could get a move done going into turn number 1. He is so close to the back of that Red Bull, and they're going up the hill now. Tsunoda looks to the inside, but Perez goes to the inside earlier, and Tsunoda looks up a little bit. They head down the hill, and it looks like that is the place confirmed for Sergio Perez as they go into the fast sweeping S's, and the dirty air is going to drop Yuki Tsunoda back a little bit. Yeah, wow. Some fantastic racing, though. I mean, if this is the sprint race and we've only had, 13 laps of racing so far, I can't imagine how good the actual race is going to be tomorrow. We've got a replay here of Oscar Piastri. He has managed to get ahead of Colapinto, and we're just watching the replay here. He's got a huge overspeed coming down the main straight because of the DRS. He's very, very late on the brakes, and just a clean, clinical, textbook maneuver from Piastri to overtake Colapinto. Very nicely done. We've hit our like target, so I'm going to set that to, let's say, 2,750, because why not? And let's see if we can hit that. We've got, 7 laps left to go, so that's, 100 likes per lap. That'd be fantastic. All right, Charles Leclerc is gaining on Sainz, and Sainz is getting closer to Norris. Norris has dropped off the back of Verstappen. The gap is 2 seconds, and I don't think he's going to close that up anytime soon. He's got fuel saving to worry about, and yeah, Piastri is now battling with Tsunoda. Here he goes. Piastri versus Tsunoda. 0.3 is the gap. And as they come out the final corner, exceeds track limits there, does Oscar Piastri. He may get an extra penalty because that. I mean, Piastri's already got a 5-second penalty. That's his entire race ruined. But nonetheless, he can do some on-track overtaking, do some battling, because why not? And he may even get Tsunoda round the outside as they go into sector number 1. Ooh, very, very close there. They nearly break front wings. But Piastri backs off to fight for another day. And I think that another day is happening in around 4 corners' time as he goes out, as he exits turn number 11. Right. Here we go. Tsunoda said, "Give back the position." I think that's already been given back. I think. Oh no, I think he meant give back the position to Perez. I'm not sure exactly why Perez would do that, because I think the overtake was fairly clean. But anyway, Tsunoda's now fighting Piastri, and here they go down the main straight. Piastri's got the DRS. Tsunoda goes to the inside. Piastri goes to the outside. Very late moving from both of the drivers, but Tsunoda manages to just stay ahead of Piastri, and now Colapinto's getting up into the mix because they've been squabbling and Colapinto's caught up. Piastri looks to get ahead as they go into turn number 15. What can Piastri do? He gets the switchback. He tries to switch back. He gets very good traction, but it's just not enough. And Tsunoda's over the radio. What is he complaining about now? Oh yeah, for sure, he forced me off. You definitely had contact. I think Tsunoda's, the team radio is a little bit delayed. He's talking about Perez's overtake. The battling with Piastri, though, surprisingly clean. No contact whatsoever, even though both drivers are moving so late into the braking zone. All right, and here comes Piastri once again at turn number 1. Yeah, it's a little bit too far back to get an overtake done here, but we've still got 5 laps remaining. That's 5 more overtaking opportunities into turn number 12. They've come over the radio saying the left toggle for the S's, 5 laps left to go. For Piastri, I don't know exactly what the left toggle means, but I'm sure it's just a setting to make him quicker through the S sections. Charles Leclerc still got DRS on his teammate. He's still gaining on his teammate, but it's not enough to get ahead of him. Sainz seems to be much quicker in the other parts of the lap. So in the S sections and in sector number 3, Sainz is gaining loads of time, and Charles Leclerc is just gaining all of that time back because of DRS. Very, very interesting. I mean, we saw yesterday in quali, Sainz was quicker overall. I think his final lap wasn't as good as Leclerc's final lap, but in general, Sainz was slightly quicker than Leclerc. So, I mean, that kind of checks out, and it's the same as what we're seeing right now. Yeah. Right, Piastri versus Tsunoda once again. It's round number 2 as they go into turn number 15. Is Tsunoda going to outbrake himself? No, he's not. He hits that apex perfectly. Piastri, he's not close enough this time to get an overtake done. And, his tyres are going to start feeling the heat being stuck behind Tsunoda. Track temperature's up to 42 degrees. And yeah, there's an investigation. Tsunoda versus Piastri, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. They're doing an investigation. Maybe, I don't know who would actually get the penalty there, because it looked like the racing was fairly clean. I think one of the drivers did go slightly wide on the curbs, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, it was Sonoda. Sonoda exceeded track limits at turn number 12, and Piastri exceeded track limits at turn number 20. Both drivers exceeded track limits. You know, you might as well let them get away with it. Yeah. Right, gap up at the front though. Norris 2.5 seconds back from Verstappen. Verstappen is clear of Norris for now, and with 4 laps left to go, I don't think that gap's going to close up. Sainz is getting perilously close to Norris's DRS though. 1.3 seconds is the gap, but his pace has also slowed up a little bit on the previous couple of laps. He's not gaining as quickly as he was. And also no further action from the FIA between Tsunoda and Piastri for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Both drivers, no penalty for either of them, although Piastri does have an overall 5-second time penalty that he got earlier. Team radio to Yuki was to give the position to Piastri. Okay, I see. Well, we'll see. Oh, Piastri. Wait, has Piastri? Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Right, I'm gonna have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second. This man has even got the classic F1 broadcast voice. Well, thank you. I don't know what the classic F1 broadcast voice means, but I appreciate the compliment. Yeah. Right. Anyway, back up at the front, we have got Hamilton closing up on Russell. Hamilton had started a little bit worse, in a worse position compared to Russell. Hamilton started in 7th, Russell started in 2nd, but both drivers have now converged on 5th and 6th, and Hamilton looks to be getting closer and closer to Russell. We may see a battle between the two drivers, but I don't think they're going to fight too much, really, given that there's only 1 point to fight for. It might be a small matter of pride, and we know the drivers do love racing and overtaking, but I think the Mercedes will probably just hold position towards the end of this race. It means when you talk, we listen. Well, fair enough. All right. Is Usain Bolt taking part in this sprint? No, he's not. But it looked the McLaren's race start. It definitely looked like Usain Bolt off the line. The first 100 meters was so quick for both of the McLarens. It was exceptional, really. Maybe that is the strategy going forward. You know, underfuel your car ever so slightly so you get a good race start, and then and then obviously lift and coast for the rest of the race. But you gain 2 or 3 positions at the race start, which you normally would never do that, which you normally wouldn't be able to do. Interesting. But yeah, some good strategy from McLaren, and things have finally gone their way. Well, in terms of Norris's case, at least, Piastri has been given a 5-second penalty, so yeah. Oh, Sainz is within DRS range of Lando Norris. Here we are on the penultimate lap of the race. The gap between Norris and Sainz is 0.9 of a second. We could see a final lap overtake here, folks. Charles Leclerc set a purple first sector. Both Ferraris are showing no signs of slowing down. And it's Norris versus Sainz versus Leclerc for second place. And we are on the penultimate lap of this race. Oh, Gregory Big, thank you for the donation. Great cover. I think you mean great coverage and the commentary as usual. Very much do appreciate it, Greg. Thank you for the donation and helping out the channel. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to this battle though. It is brewing, and another donation, Superhero. Thank you for the $10 donation. Wow, 2 donations in the span of about 10 seconds. Thank you so much. Hamilton has just been told strap mode 5. I'm in the braking zone. Oh, these drivers are so close to each other, and Russell is not Russell. Norris is under so much pressure. Both Ferraris are in both of his mirrors, one on the left, one on the right, and Lando Norris is on the final lap of this race. Could lose this second position that might help him get the championship. So here we go. Verstappen, he is 2 seconds, 3 seconds clear in the lead of this race, but we have got a 3-way battle with 1 lap to go. This is Formula 1, folks. Going into turn number 1, and Sainz looks to the inside. Norris locks up, and Sainz goes down the inside, and what a move from Carlos Sainz, forcing a mistake from Lando Norris, and Norris now under pressure. He's got a Ferrari ahead of him, he's got a Ferrari behind him, and as they go into the S's, Charles Leclerc is right over the back of him, nose to tail. Lando Norris has bottled turn number 1. He's already lost 1 position. Can he hang on to 3rd place, or is he going to lose that to Charles Leclerc as well? Here they go. We've got a fastest lap of the race from Oscar Piastri. He is very, very quick, but all eyes now are on the other McLaren of Lando Norris. Can he hold on? We have got half a lap remaining. They exit turn number 11. Sainz will have no DRS. Norris will have DRS on Sainz. Leclerc will have DRS on Norris. Will that be just enough for Norris to hang on to this third place? Leclerc is a little bit too far back here as they go into turn number 12. He is so late on the brakes, and there's a little lock up from Norris. Norris locks up again, his front left, already flat spotted from earlier, and another lock up from Lando Norris. It is so tight as we go into the final lap of this race, the final sector of this race, and Leclerc loses the car. He twitches all around the circuit, and he's lost that position for sure. This was so close, but Verstappen, he comes out of the final corner now to come across the line to win the sprint race. So fantastic drive from Max Verstappen, leading the race from the front. He was under a little bit of pressure, but he dealt with it superbly. Carlos Sainz with a final lap overtake on Lando Norris to get second place. Norris just holds on to turn number 3 after Leclerc makes a mistake in the final sector, but a double lockup for Norris on the final lap, an overtake from Sainz, and Leclerc having a huge moment. What a final lap of this race we have just had. Wow. Terry Bird, thank you for the donation. Another £10 donation. Thank you so much, Terry. Massively helps out the channel. But Max Verstappen wins the sprint race, gets 8 points. Carlos Sainz in second position. And we've got Lando Norris in third. Wow, what a race. A couple more drivers come across the line. Russell in 5th, Hamilton in 6th. Both Haas cars scores points in 7th and 8th. But a fantastic race, folks. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to have to end the stream quite quickly. But it's going to take you over to the full race stream for tomorrow. So go ahead, press the like button on that stream. Go ahead, press the reminder button, because this race was only 1/3 of the distance. Tomorrow we're going to have 3 times the number of laps, 3 times the number of action, and it's going to be fantastic. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Another donation from Superhero. Congrats on the 100k. Very much is appreciated. And I will see you for the full race tomorrow. There is qualifying that is happening later today. I will also be commentating that, but the main thing is you hit the like button and the reminder button for tomorrow's race. All right, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. I'll see you in 3 hours, and we've had a fantastic race.